John Les here of Les Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing another new head. Okay, I saw this head at the ATA show in St. Louis earlier this year, 2024, and I finally got around to getting them, and I'm able to put them to the test. It's called the Toulou. Toulou, like one word, Toulou, the Toulou, and I'm going to be testing the 125 grain. This is one wild and crazy looking two-blade head. You think, like, how weird can a two-blade head get? Man, that's pretty weird, okay, but really innovative. I don't mean weird in a bad way. So we're going to be checking out this broadhead and seeing how it performs, and I'm going to be putting it to the test using my protocol for 2024. For a detailed description of that, explaining why I do the tests I do, how I do them, please watch the video that I posted earlier this year called 2024 Broadhead Test Process. I keep saying this because I get a lot of questions and comments that I just think, you know, if you would have watched that video, it could have saved everyone some time. So anyway, that's why I keep making a plug like that. And I'm going to be using my Elite Era compound bow for most of the shooting. For the accuracy flight testing, I'm going to be using my Killer Instinct SWAT X1 crossbow. I'm using all Bishop Archery arrows and bolts. All right, let's zoom on in here and check out this Toulou 125 grain head and then put it to the test. Here's a good look at this broadhead, and man, it is just a really cool looking head. Okay, it looks in some ways, if you look quick, it's just like a standard two-blade head, but then you look a little more closely and you got some really cool stuff going on here, and you can just tell right away it's extremely well constructed. It's all sourced and manufactured in the U.S., really high specifications, high tolerances, and tight specifications. It spins extremely well. So first of all, the materials, it's just one piece of S7 tool steel, which is a fantastic steel. It's just super resistant to impact, making it very durable. And it's got this this black, kind of blackish coating to give it extra corrosion resistance against the elements. If you're in a really damp climate, it's going to protect it from rusting a lot more than a standard S7 would. And then in terms of the dimensions, the cutting diameter here is 1 1/16 inches. The length beyond the end of the arrow is 1.2 inches. And then the thickness of the blades varies from 0.05 inches at its narrowest place to 0.09 inches at its widest place. Now, the coolest thing about this broadhead that you'll notice is that curve to the blade. Look at that. I mean, that is just so unusual. I've never seen a broadhead do this, but it has a real curve to the blade. And what that's going to do, and what they say, is one, it's going to increase the rotation in flight because the entire broadhead is curved. So that's going to increase the accuracy by getting the arrow to spin a lot more readily. And then with the single beveling, that spin, that rotation is going to continue within the medium, just creating a more wicked wound channel. So look forward to testing that and seeing how that goes. Now you notice some additional things. This ferrule is really unobtrusive. I mean, it barely sticks out at all. That's just going to aid in penetration. And being an S7 tool steel probably doesn't need an extra thick ferrule supporting it all the way to the top. Now you notice that the tip here has a different blade angle to it. It's got kind of a tanto tip to it, and it's also a bit thicker, and so that's just going to give extra strength to the tip. The bevel angle, I believe, is 30 degrees, and for resharpening, you can use the Stay Sharp Guide C kit. I think it'll do a great job with that. You might want to confirm that with Stay Sharp Guide, but I believe they're going to use the C kit. I think it will work really well with this broadhead. So, man, a lot of cool things about it, a lot of innovations. I look forward to putting it to the test and seeing how it performs. It got the solid 9 ring. It took 210 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.9 on a 10-point scale. Sorry you can't see it here, but it penetrated 8 3/4 inches, which is a 9.72 on a 10-point scale. It took an additional 76 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is an 8.48 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 55 layers, which is a 7.86 on a 10-point scale. It's in perfect condition after the 3 shots through the MDF. Here it is after the 2 shots through the steel plate, and you can see the head held up pretty well. The tip got pretty blunted there, and then the edges experienced a little bit of chatter, but otherwise it's in really good shape. And then you can see the holes. They're not huge holes, but the cutting diameter is not very big, and they did get a good S cut to them from that single beveling. It rotated 42 degrees at 12 inches, which is a really good rotation in ballistic gel. Here it is after all the durability testing, and man, it did really well, better than I expected. It did get a little bit of chatter on the steel plate, just a little bit, but on the concrete, it held up really well. Got a little bit of a tip curl there. I don't know if you can see it. I mean, that is so minor, but very impressive durability. So what'd you think? Man, it did really well, right? I mean, every area. I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't know how durable it would be, how it would really fly, what that kind of rotation would be. But it performed very well in each of those areas. And then, man, that cinder block, because of that rotation, it took out a chunk. Because I shot where I often shoot, is about 3 inches from the edge, and it took that whole 3 inches of cinder block off. I've never seen anything like that. So really impressive. The only area that it got dinged in the scoring was the cut size. It's like 1 1/16 inches, which is really great if you're going after penetration. You got a bigger animal or a lighter setup. But the way I score it, cut size is one of the criteria. Everything's a trade-off in broadhead design like that. But that works for you, again, if you're going after a bigger animal or have a lighter setup. But I think they really did a great job. And I was so impressed with the performance that I reached out to him and to the owner and one of the owners and got a discount code. So if you use the discount code LUSK10, you save 10% on the cost of the broadhead. So I hope you can check them out. They're really worth consideration. But you check out the score sheet and see how they performed in the areas that matter to you the most. See if it might be a good fit for you and your hunting needs. Stay tuned for the overall score sheet, the cumulative score, and the corresponding LUSK grade, and a list of all the discount codes that I offer as the last slide. And I'm constantly updating that, but I can't update it if I've already uploaded the video. So check the description of the video in the bottom. After all the scores that I put in that description, check in the bottom and I list all the discount codes like the one for Toulou, LUSK10, to save 10%. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time.